I just had an hour and a half meeting with him. Huh? No, this will be 3 hours. I just had a meeting with him. Yeah. 5 to 8. 5 to 8. I guess we'll see. All right, it's 5 o'clock on the nose. Let's call this city council budget work session to order. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Doing roll call, all voting members are present other than Councilmember Lundin, who may or may not be making it tonight. Is there any public comment tonight? If there is, you're welcome to come forward and offer your public comment. Hearing none, we will close the public comment. Next, we'll move on to adopting of the agenda. Are there any changes? So there may be a
Good evening, Mayor and
change.
Council. We did have a revision to one of the documents, and we're going to pull up exactly which document that was so we can share.
There's a few documents in this one.
On page 9 of the packet, there's a change in the percentage change for the general fund levy. It was originally 13.31%. It should have been 6.12%.
Page 13, you said?
Page
Page
9.
9.
Page 9, sorry.
Page 9.
Of which packet item exactly?
General fund levy, the first line at the top there, percent change.
This would be page 6 of that specific document. I don't think they have the full packet numbers on theirs. So,
Page 6 then of that item.
Okay. So the tax levy using fund balance, you had it listed as like 13%, and now it's 6.13?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Any other changes or additions to the agenda, Ms. Wood?
no, there are not.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the notation of the change.
Motion to approve with changes?
Motion by Councilmember Peterson, second by Councilmember Holmgren. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 4-0. The agenda is approved. Item F1, 2026 budget schedule. So this will be,
So
Go ahead.
before I let our finance director, Nick, take away with our presentation here, I do want to share for council and as well as the public that we have everything within the budget work session packet, including the full budget draft, CIP list, a summary, as well as a couple different options for budget proposals. We don't have all the staff here and present for all departments, even though we included everything so everyone, the public and council could see it as a full picture. So the departments that we're going to be going through today specifically include the EDA, the stormwater, liquor, water, sewer, and their budgets as well as the CIP items. Are we talking about parks too on this one? And parks.
sounds good.
The remainder of the departments, in detail, we'll be going through those on next Wednesday's budget session number 2.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Nick, take the floor.
All right, so I'll get you started with this first page in the background. There's some general notes and assumptions that were used for preparing the budget, so I'll kind of walk you guys through that. All of the wages have a COLA adjustment applied to them from 25 to 26, along with any step increases for work anniversaries for employees. Union contracts are not yet settled for 2026. This may cause a change in what we need to use for wage assumptions for those. For right now, we are just using a 3% COLA adjustment. Those may change based on where those contracts end up falling. No additional staff is currently planned for 2026. Our health insurance premiums are based off of 2025 premiums, assuming a 10% increase.
Where did you get that 10% increase number? Is that just a
Just something that we have set. We haven't gone out yet to see kind of what our health insurance numbers will look like for 2026 yet. That's something that we'll work on here in the upcoming months to get those new rates.
We usually
Okay.
get those the end of September.
Okay, thank you.
I think the last 2 years, we've been fortunate that they've actually gone down, so I think that's just standard built in.
Yep, conservative estimate there,
Yep.
just making sure we've got enough to cover it. Work compensation rates are based on 2025 rates with a 25% deflationary factor. Property liability and volunteer insurance premiums are based on 2025 rates with a 0% increase. Dental insurance is based on 2025 with a 5% increase. Life and accidental and death insurance is based on 2025 premiums with a 0% increase. So those, like we said, we'll go out for and get those increases hopefully here by the end of September and can make those updates to actual for 2026. Then also, we are assuming that $0 is being added to our fund balance as part of this 2026 budgeting process. So we're assuming we're gonna have a net income of zeros where we're working off of here for this first budget session. Taxable market value is set to increase by 5.68%. That's a number received from the county. I spoke with Luke earlier. I'm gonna work with the county on getting the breakdown versus what of that is new construction versus what of that was home value increase. And then as part of this, we have two different budgets that you guys are gonna see tonight. One is with a tax rate increase of 4.63%. That'll be seen on page 5 of the next attachment. The second budget has a no tax rate increase, and that'll be seen on page 7. For this budget, fund balance reserves are gonna be utilized to balance the budget instead of additional tax levy revenue. So if you wanna go ahead to the next item, we can look kind of at the table of contents, and I'll kind of give you a rundown of what I'm gonna be speaking on next.
So we got the next,
Okay.
thanks.
There you go.
Good. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is run through the 2026 budget schedule, then we'll touch on tax levy and tax rates for both budgets. After that, I will run through each of the funds and give you kind of an update on where they stand, changes in revenues and expenditures for each of those. If you have any questions during this, just let me know. I can pause and answer any questions you may have. After we kind of run through all this, I'll kind of open up the floor for any questions and let our department heads speak on their specific budgets, and we'll kind of bounce back and forth from page to page in the specific budget documents to kind of go over those.
Is this something that we can have on the monitors? Is that, okay. It's really helpful when you can see this stuff while you're watching these meetings. Thanks, Nick, for meeting with me earlier. There's a lot of info that we all have to learn, so.
So while Josie's getting that stuff pulled up, I'll kind of cover the 2026 budget schedule. So, like we mentioned, we'll be running through tax levy, tax rate, kind of the history and the projections for 26 tonight. We'll also be covering in the general fund, the planning and zoning budgets, parks budgets, and streets budget. Then we will also cover EDA and stormwater, and then the liquor fund. Water and sewer are listed there for tonight, but they're also listed for our next meeting. Just depends kind of where we're at time-wise, whether we'll get to those or not.
Do any of you guys have any questions before we get into this? No? Okay. Nick, I have a question for you. You said it's a deflationary measure of 25% for work comp. Can you explain more on that? Was there a big increase last year and we're expecting less this year? More police training have something to do with that, or?
That 25% was matching up with what we did last year from 24 to 25. We saw some big jumps in 22, 23, and 24 is my kind of understanding. So it's continuing to kind of work down on that number too, to kind of where we expect things to be there for work comp insurance.
Okay, did it go down significantly last year like expected? Okay.
Yes, it did.
When do you hear those numbers for work comp?
What was that?
What month do you hear your new numbers?
That's a good question. Do you know when we get work comp numbers? The,
Okay.
And what's the total cost of work comp? So just say worst case, if we're expecting deflationary of 25%, but it stays even, can you tell us how much that number might be?
so that number's right around 103,000 right now, so it'll be right around 125 for the general fund if that has no change.
Okay. So a $25,000 swing potentially, or absolute worst case?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We did have the mayor's luncheon today too. That was pretty well attended. I don't know, most of the staff was there. We guessed around 160 people showed up. There was a 201 that RSVP'd, which is a record number, so it was really good. I think it went well today. City staff did a good job planning it. If you guys are curious about it.
Council, we're gonna need to shut it out now. It's flipping, it actually worked that time. And then try to restart it.
Okay. Do we want to go on to something that doesn't require the monitors to talk about maybe, or does that throw everything out of whack?
It's really up to you.
Is there anything that we could talk about now that's not, maybe won't be essential to use the monitors for? Sure. Okay.
If you want to go to page 8 of the first attachment, it's the general fund operating budget summary. If you want to go to page 8 there, I'll kind of run through the reason for some of these changes, just something that we can talk about so you guys kind of have the background on what caused the change from 25 to 26 on some of that. So.
Sure. Sounds good.
So the current projected tax increase is a 13% increase. That's tied in with that tax levy increase, so kind of matching up there. We're expecting a 13% increase in general fund, just like we were in the regular revenue for our first budget item. Next up on that list is a 38% decrease for license and permits. That is for anticipating not having as much development in 26 as we've seen in 25 and 24. That's just due to kind of some uncertainty of whether there's going to be any new developments or anything kind of opening up in 26. Stephanie can kind of talk on that a little bit too, why we went with that.
We generally do that. We underestimate every year, so that's just based on the average numbers that we try to underestimate. We try to be very conservative with those numbers. So it doesn't mean we don't predict any development next year or that we actually predict the numbers to be substantially low. It's just to be safe.
Sure.
Next line down is intergovernmental revenue. That's mainly made up of local government aid. We're expecting just a slight increase from local government aid from the state for next year, so that's the only thing that's really moving that percentage at all.
Have they already announced those numbers or indicated anything along those lines? Because I know their budget is way out of whack, and counties have gotten hit a little bit with things. Has that already been told to us?
It's already been discussed. They gave preliminary numbers previously. We'll have final numbers July 31st.
Okay,
By August?
July 31st.
July 31st,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
And when do we have to set our preliminary budget this year?
October 1st, I believe, so September 30th, right in there. So we'll have time to get those actuals in there.
And then the final budget is due,
November. Charges for services is up 4%. That's mainly related to our BMX lease with the slight increases that we have there each year, along with increase in SRO contract reimbursements for PD. Fines and forfeitures is down. That is due to PD having a new system that has kind of slowed the number of tickets that are getting written. So just using a conservative estimate there until everything's up and running exactly how we hope and everyone's comfortable with anything. Travis, you want to touch on that at all?
Yeah, I looked a little bit, just 1 month to 1 month, and about 50-some% less citations written per month over last year with that new records management system. We as a consortium, meaning us, Cambridge, Bram, and the county are all in that same boat. And we're working on a solution for that.
it's just more headache to use, so it's more work, so you're not doing as much of it?
Yes and no. Yes, as you're correct, but also the system doesn't work.
Okay,
They've been flying their people out on different weeks, and it's a longer story.
Sure.
And it's not just us that are into it. It's the county, and we actually have a meeting tomorrow on potential solution.